Hey, my friend. Welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic. Danny Simonis here, intuitive astrologer, spiritual healer. Excited and blessed to be here to navigate what is in our sky in Sidereal Astrology. This week, we've got lots to talk about. So we're going to dive in. If you are new here, welcome. I am so blessed that you found us. We have been going strong here for the past few years with these forecasts, and I'm glad you found us. If you're returning, let me know. Say hi in the comments. Let me know how you are feeling as we are in our first full week of Capricorn season. What does it feel like for you? Are you enjoying this? Have you got your goal set? Let me know down in the comments. I love when you guys comment and just tell me what you think about these episodes or these videos. I say episodes because if you did not know, we do have the Cosmic Mystic podcast. The channels are both aligned now. The channel changed from Keeping It Real with Sidereal, which I absolutely loved that name, to the Cosmic Mystic to coincide with the podcast. So in this new year here, 2025, we've got them coinciding. So we've got the podcast here. You can find it on the YouTube channel. You can also find it on all of your favorite platforms. So feel free to check it out there, the Cosmic Mystic podcast and the channel. So if you like to see these forecasts with the charts and everything, which I highly recommend, then come on over to the YouTube channel and watch it here. If you want to take me on your walk, on your drive, while you're doing work, whatever it might be doing, then feel free to listen to the podcast as well. Okay, we are going to do my favorite thing in the way we start all of these is with our state of the planet. So let's look at where everybody's hanging out as we talk about the sidereal astrology for January 20th through the 26th. All right, we've got our sun right here with inside Capricorn. We're at 6 degrees as we kick off this week. We've got the conjunction here with Pluto, which we talked about last week in our forecast, and we talked about in our January overview. So if you're looking for just the overview of what's kind of happening, you can check out that January episode where I talk all about the overview of what's kind of happening. We're going to talk a little bit about this conjunction because it's still influencing us. Plus, we're going to see the peakness come in here. Plus, we've got, if you did not know, I have a guidebook that I put out every single month. It is going to shift in spring to a quarterly guidebook, but right now we still have the monthly guidebook. And so this is all about Capricorn season. It talks all about the zodiac energy. It talks about how to use this in your personal growth and in your self-mastery, as well as business. And it also talks about different crystals you can use, rituals you can do for this season, and weekly journal prompts and affirmations. So there's a whole lot of goodness in that guidebook that you can go download for free when you go to thepeaceteacher.com/guidebook, thepeaceteacher.com/guidebook, and you can get all of that there. Plus, we have a full episode all about Capricorn energy and how to use that. So if you want to listen to that as well, you can go to the Cosmic Mystic podcast and listen to that episode. Okay, let's continue on. We've got Mercury here in Sagittarius. We've got our moon starting off this week in Virgo. We've also got our south node in Virgo. We've got Mars here at 0 degrees Cancer in retrograde. It is going to be moving into Gemini this week, and so we'll talk about what that means. We're going to talk about, we're not going to talk about Jupiter in Taurus, but Jupiter is in Taurus in retrograde. Uranus is in retrograde in Aries. We've also got Chiron over here in Pisces, our North Node in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, Venus in Aquarius, and Saturn right here still in Aquarius. It will be moving into Pisces later this year, but we are still here for now. All right, that's our state of the planets. So let's look at this Sun conjunct Pluto. because this has been influencing us since last week on the 15th when this came into play here. And so this was where we were talking about a lot of that power dynamic, a lot of that control, that dominance. Remember, we talked about that letting go, the conflicts. We talked all about that energy. Obsessiveness is something also that really came into play. And we also had, if you remember, that opposition over here to Mars, which actually did fall off. But I do want to show you right here on the 21st, this will be what's called perfected, meaning it is at the same degree. So right here, we're going to see the most intenseness of this energy. So we're probably going to see it here on the, as we've been leading up this last week, but it is going to perfect right here on the 21st. So that is when I would say, my friend, we are probably going to have the most intense energy of all. So my recommendation is how can you take care of yourself? How can you, what can you put in place for yourself so that you can really keep a grounded place where you can stay in your own power, right? How can you use this energy to shift out of some of the old and really transform into the new? What are we here? What can we do right here? We're on the week coming off of our full moon that we just had in Gemini, with Gemini and Sagittarius, right? We had that dynamic, and now we're really coming into getting prepared for our new moon in Capricorn as we enter Capricorn season here. So what can we let go of? What still needs to be moved through or transformed? And we can use this energy here right now. Okay, this is a really, really powerful energy I'm going to invite you to step into. All right, what is the other thing we've got going on here? We've got a trine over here with Jupiter coming in towards the end of the week on the 25th. Right here on Saturday, we see this trine come into play, as these are still conjunct. So keep that in mind. These guys are still conjunct, even though Pluto and the Sun are separating, right? They're still conjunct here, and they'll be conjunct until next week. So with this Jupiter trine over here to Jupiter, this is really good growth, really good opportunities. It's much more optimistic and enthusiastic, very generous, really confident energy here. These are working together really nicely. They're both in that earth energy, and so they're really helping each other really amplify that. So this is a really good opportunity for you to have some really good growth, for some opportunities to open up for you. So whenever I say that, I'm always going to tell you to broaden your perspective. Remember, opportunities can come in all shapes and sizes. And so don't just look for the opportunity to come one way. Look at all the ways that opportunity can come to you and open up that perspective, because there's definitely some opportunities that are going to be coming through for you here. All right, let's move on to our moon. As I said, we're coming off that full moon in Gemini and preparing for new moon. So it means the energy is going to start to drop this week, even more so as we prepare for the new moon on the 29th. So new moon will happen on January 29th. So we're preparing for that in Capricorn. So let's see where the moon's going to be this week. As we kick off this week, as I mentioned earlier, we are in Virgo. So let me go back to the 20th here. We are right here in Virgo. We had a Virgo over the weekend. And so as we kick off this week, we kick it off in Virgo. So Virgo is the earth energy. That's a really grounded energy, really looking at systems and structures and habits, paired with this Capricorn energy. We are on fire, my friend. This is a really good time to really look at those streamlining things, really setting up that system, really setting up that process for whatever it is that you are working towards in this new year. So by this point, right, we're starting to really look at, we know what the vision is, right? Especially if you've been in the reset retreat, we know what the vision is. Now we want to look at okay, let's set some goals around this. Let's set some structure around this, which is what we're going to be doing this week in the retreat. So that's opportunity for you to look at this, right? What is the system and the structure? We really get into this energy here. Then come Tuesday through Thursday morning, the moon is going to move into Libra. Libra is an air sign. So, working with the same idea, this is a time for you to brainstorm. This is a time for you to look at the ideas or research, really finish up those little tasks, maybe that you've been kind of, just need the final little thing, like just to kind of wrap things up. This isn't the time to really get into the work. It's the time to really brainstorm the ideas or finish up those quick things. This is a very multitasking type energy. So it's like, do this and then do that and then do that. Now, Libra does seek harmony and balance in everything that it's doing. So you might find over between Tuesday through that Thursday morning of wanting to find some balance with some things, and how can I do this and balance this energy, or where can I find some more harmony or peace in the way that I'm doing things, or being indecisive is also a really big thing with Libra. Is not sure which thing to do. I'm not sure where to go with this, right? Because you can see all aspects of things, which is the beauty of Libra. Now, moving into, let's go back here to Thursday. So Thursday afternoon into all the way through Saturday, the moon will move through Scorpio. So Scorpio is a water element. Anytime the moon moves through the water element, we always want to make sure that we prioritize our self-care. Water moons are the best time to do this because they're right before a fire moon. I was gonna say a full moon, right before a fire moon. And a fire moon is that really active energy. And so we really need we can really utilize our water moons to do that self-care. It's also a really good time for that creativity, for emotional work, especially with Scorpio, is digging deep into the deeper layers of things. So really good time to do that deeper layer of work for yourself. So that shadow work here, as well as your intuition and connecting into something greater than yourself, whether that's with your guides, your guardians, definitely connecting in with that energy in other realms. And then lastly, we move into our Sunday here, which will be in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is a fire sign. The number one thing I say with fire signs as a business owner is a good time to sell your stuff, to make an offer. This is also a really good time to grow, to expand, to express yourself in some way, shape, or form of needing some freedom. So really going on an adventure of some sort. I would look at maybe Sunday kind of getting out there and being a little bit more adventurous than maybe you have been so far this year, is using that energy to go meet somebody new, meet some new people, try something new. Definitely would recommend this for the Sagittarius energy, even though we are still preparing for that new moon. So nothing too, crazy that's going to take up too much of your energy, but definitely can use it. You can definitely use this energy. Plus that connection with Pluto, we're getting really close to it being, apart from each other, and it is moving towards Mercury. So they are getting kind of close there, but we're still should be so good here for that adventure. All right, let's talk about Mercury as we dive in here. So Mercury, as we kick off this week, we still have that square over here to Chiron, which we talked about last week, but we do have a couple of things that are coming into play right here on the 20th, which is this trine over here to Uranus. We've also got on the 21st, this opposition here to Mars. So let's talk about those two, because those two are coming here at the beginning of the week. Uranus, again, is the rebellion, and he really shows us new things, right? Things we want to stimulate our minds. We want to have new opportunities here. So this does open our mind up to new possibilities, because with Mercury, we're talking about the mind, we're talking about communication. So our psychic abilities are really high during this time, especially with Uranus. Anytime they're with Uranus or Neptune, really amplifies that. Our intuition is amplified. Our thinking is new and wanting to have new ideas about things. So if there's things that you've been stuck with, this week right in here is a really good week, which if we look at the planning of the reset retreat is the opportunity for us to set our goals, right? So you my friend, do you think I did this on purpose? Yeah, I did. This is a really good time for those new ideas to come into play, for the way of doing something to achieve your goal, right? How can we use this energy? So if you've been kind of stuck on something, there's been a problem that you've been trying to solve and you can't figure it out, this energy right here is really good for that. Now, let's talk about that opposition with Mars. Mars intensifies things, right? So there's the potential for conflicts, the potential for arguments, for you rushing to conclusions on things, which also means other people could be rushing to conclusions on things. Mars is very, very quick, very fast. It's impatient. So there could be some nervous tensions or nervous, things that come into a play, or being defensive or impulsive. And so I'm going to invite you to engage in something that's going to help calm your mind, calm the energies that might be around you. Because some somatic breath work would be really, really good here, let me just say. So come join us for Magic Mondays on the channel. You can find them on the YouTube channel under Magic Monday playlist. We do them every single Monday, or most every single Monday, where I just do our daily somatic practice, and we have a channeled message from the Akashic Records along with a oracle card pull. So you can look at those. I would highly recommend those to just release some of that energy, to help regulate the nervous system, as you know, there could be, right, some possibility of tension here. And then let's keep moving on, because we've got a couple other things here with Mercury. Mercury's making some changes. We've got a lot of influence here with Mercury as we move in with this sextile over here to Neptune. And then we see this perfection here as Mercury moves into Capricorn right here with Pluto. So on the 24th, we see Mercury move into Capricorn. And then on the 25th, we see this conjunction with Pluto. So let's talk about Neptune and Pluto, and then we'll talk about Mercury moving into Capricorn. So with Neptune, it's bringing in more of a creative energy. It's really giving us an opportunity to connect with our spirit guides, our spirit team. Dream work is really probably a big thing here. Really looking at bigger picture is probably more so of a case than looking at details. With Neptune, it's very flowy. It's almost as if it's just kind of all over. Like, the feeling I have with Neptune is like it's really all over the place, and not in a bad way, but it's like it seeps into things, right? There's not a real big container with the Neptune energy, and so it can really kind of feel like it's just very flowy for me. And so details, we're not looking at details. We're in dreaminess. We're in dream world. That's what it feels like for me. So engaging in things that are going to take you out of reality are probably going to be good. And when I say that, that's like reading a book, watching a movie, watching a TV show, getting really in tune with music, and just really allowing yourself to get pulled into these ideas. Now, I say that and also say no, that your mind and guarding your mind is super important. So be mindful of what is coming in, because as you get into those places, like when you get immersed right into a movie, that's a hypnotic state, which means your subconscious is being programmed. And so it's one of the reasons why I don't really watch murder mystery, like not murder mystery. What is it called? Those thriller. I don't like. I'm not a big fan of like horror movies at all. Not my thing. It puts a lot of fear within me. It like programs that within me. And then the other one is the true crimes. There you go. That's what I was looking for. True crimes. I don't mind murder mysteries like the movies. I don't mind those too much, or thrillers. Like, those are fine, but it's like the true crime. Those do not make a good impression on my subconscious mind. So I don't watch that. However, I am saying that you can look at some of these other things and really allow them to program your subconscious mind. All right. And then the conjunction here with the Mercury. So again, Mercury and Pluto, this conjunction here, this is bringing more of a depth to your thinking, more of an intensity to your communication. So getting to the bottom of things, this is a really good time to do that. So if there's something that's been kind of agitating you or kind of been there that's kind of bugging you, this is a good time to get to the bottom of that. Also uncovering things here. So uncovering things within the subconscious, uncovering things that are hidden from you, right? Which is a lot of the things in the subconscious. So a lot of subconscious work is really good here. Working with hypnosis is actually really good. This is a really good energy to do that. So whether you're listening to something or putting yourself in a self-hypnosis, a trance of some sort, which we do naturally, as I said, with a movie, or even when we get immersed in a book. This is also a good time to work with a coach or a healer or a counselor, a therapist of some sort, to really gain some deeper understanding of some of the dynamics of things, power and persuasion, influencing people. This is also a really good time for that. So we can influence people in a very positive way, and we can influence people in a very negative way. We like to use that influence for good around here, but know that that can also be happening out in the world. So be mindful of that for yourself. Let's see. What else would be really good under this time? You might even connect with other realms in this time. So for those of you that like to work with galactic energy, or like to work with the other side, so those of you that are really good psychics, this is also, you might find that there is some energy that's wanting to come through during this time for you. It might be really easy for you to connect into that energy as well, especially as Mercury and Pluto come even closer together. All right, so let's talk about Mercury and Capricorn, because Mercury is our thinking and our communication, and it is going to be moving into Capricorn here. So let's talk about what that looks like. So Mercury will be transiting Capricorn from the 24th here in January all the way through the 11th of February. So it's going to coincide really nicely with the Sun in Capricorn. So what is the vibe with Mercury and Capricorn? So when we look at Mercury, we're thinking about our communication and our thinking. So with Capricorn being that earth energy, that really grounded energy, that responsible energy, that determined to achieve the goals, and really practical energy, our communication is going to involve, and our thinking is going to involve a lot of those traits. So there might be more of a focus on clarity, more of a focus on how we're structuring things. We're like thinking about how we can structure something, more in the how, right? What's the how? How do we do this? Which is always the part where we can get a little stuck. And so there's a lot of that how energy. There's also making decisions about the future, really long-term goals. Our focus here is on the achievable, on the responsible, on the tangible solutions, the tangible ideas, the tangible goals that are going to help us. So there's a lot of integrity with Capricorn as well. So you might see things coming from a more strategic standpoint, more of a in high integrity, right? So some of this it's a really beautiful. What I like to look at Mercury in Capricorn for is like, this is why I set the goal setting workshop, right, for the week of the 23rd. It's right as we move into Mercury in Capricorn. It's giving us that opportunity to bring that mental discipline, to bring in the practicality, right? Because we've been out here with these huge thoughts with Sagittarius, and now we're really bringing in that structure to things. And so this is a really good time to really set those goals. So we've been visioning, we've been aligning, and now it's time to really design that new year that we have here for us. So look out, use this opportunity, use this time to really get into that more structured, organized type energy. All right, let's keep going on. Let's move on to our Mars. Oops. So Mars, we don't have too much going on here with Mars. One big thing I do want to talk about right here is that Mars will be moving back into right there, Gemini. So on the 21st, Mars is going to move back into Gemini. It's been in Cancer in retrograde for a while now, and Mars is going to be retrograde until the end of February on the 23rd, I believe. Yep, onto the 23rd. So it's moving back into to Gemini from Cancer, and it'll be here for a little bit. So what does Mars, if you remember Mars in Gemini, what does that energy mean? And since it's still in retrograde, right, it's gonna shift. So Gemini is a much more active energy than Cancer is. So it's a much more social energy. It's really communicative. And so there's a lot of drive and motivation around having conversations and connecting. And so even though it is more of an internal sign, an internal vibe because of the retrograde, we're still going to feel, right, a lot of that desire to connect with people. It's also going to give you the opportunity to look at where are some of the struggles that I have with this, or what are some of the limitations that I have with this as I communicate with others and how I do this. And so with that, Mercury coming into Capricorn here, and with this Mars moving back into Gemini, this energy of communication is really going to come into play here. So it will be in Gemini all the way through the 23rd of February, and then it'll start to come back out of Gemini and move back into Cancer, where it will be for a bit longer. So we still got, even though we're making a little bit of this change, and a lot of people have been telling me like, I'm just not motivated to do anything. And I'm like, well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because Mars has been in Cancer, right? Once it moves back into this Gemini, you're going to see some stuff start to flutter, but we really won't see that until it goes direct on the 23rd. And as it starts to move out of Gemini, we'll have that nice little boost, and then it's going to come back in again. Just keep that in mind, my friend. Just keep it in mind. All right. I realized I wasn't sharing my screen, so let me share my screen now as we talk about Mars and Saturn, because Mars and Saturn are coming into play here on the 25th. There we go. We see the trine coming into play here. Now, this trine, we also got the trine with Venus and the trine with Neptune, right? And so we've had the other two. Now we're bringing in Saturn. So again, Saturn is that strength. It's that ambition, that determination, that perseverance. There's a lot of patience and self-discipline here. So this is really helping us come into play here with really stepping into that patience and self-discipline. So this is a good time to start following through on things. If there's something that you've been putting off, or right, this is why I like to look at using Capricorn season as the time to set our goals, because now here we are with this trine with Saturn, and it's like, okay, now I'm ready to start. Now I know what my vision is. I know what my plan is. And now I'm ready to execute those daily habits that are really going to help me focus in and have the discipline and have the patience that I know I'm working towards these bigger things. So really bringing in that energy here. All right, let's take a look at Venus. Venus has got a couple of things coming into play that I want to talk about. Specifically on the 20th, we have this connection with Uranus. So down here, so we have this conjunction here with Saturn, which we talked about last week, and we have this sextile over here with Mercury, which we also talked about. So let's talk about Uranus here on the 20th. And then we're also going to talk about a conjunction with Neptune that we saw in the other one. So we've got Uranus here, which is really creating, again, anytime we talk about Uranus, it's that excitement, the stimulation, the new things. And so with Venus, we're talking about this in a social and romantic realm. So this is all the way through the 2nd of February. So keeping that in mind. So a lot of fun and excitement and creativity, connecting with other people, having fun, really good time for new connections, new relationships, of meeting people from different backgrounds, different places, and just really having this free-spirited type energy of meeting new people. So there's going to be a lot of that energy coming in, and also some new opportunities or even unexpected windfalls with money, because Venus does rule over money. And with Uranus, it can just be like all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, like you get a new client, or you get that check in the mail that you're like, what, from the insurance company, right? That you didn't know was coming through. It's always a fun time. And then on the 25th, we're going to see this conjunction here with Neptune. So we see this in Neptune is in Pisces. Venus is at the edge of Aquarius. And so it is going to be moving into Pisces. We'll talk about that in a second, but we've got this conjunction right here. So this brings that opportunity for something new, especially as it relates to like a spiritual relationship, a more compassionate or empathetic type relationship. So if you've been looking for like having more of a deeper connection with somebody, there's the opportunity for this to come into play, whether that's an existing relationship or a new potential relationship. And I don't mean that from just a romantic standpoint. I also mean that from like a friendship or a business partnership, this new type of really compassionate and nurturing type relationship. This is a possibility for some difficulty with motivation because Neptune, kind of slows things down and kind of makes things a little hazy. So it might be a little bit harder to be motivated, especially because Mars is still retrograde, even though it is in Gemini and it is bringing us a little bit of that spark. As I talked about, it still with this Venus and Neptune here, it is kind of making things a little like daydreamy, which is nice. Don't get me wrong. You might be more drawn to things that are more beautiful or compassionate or empathetic. And so there might be this motivation around that. Compassion is super, super high with Venus and Neptune, super, super high. And creativity is also really high here. So any type of work that you can do where you're caring for others or taking care of others, maybe doing some charity work or some nonprofit work, really this energy is a really good time for that. And that's through the 9th of February. And then, as I said, Venus is going to be moving into Pisces, which we're going to talk about in our next forecast, because it comes in here on the 27th. Later in the day here on the 27th, Venus will move into Pisces. And so we'll talk about that in next week's Sidereal Astrology forecast. So my friend, this wraps up our Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of January 20th through the 26th. It is always my honor and pleasure to do these videos for you, to share the information with you as I see it in our sky right now. One last thing, this is your last chance. As I've mentioned, the Reset Retreat, this is your last opportunity to join us. When you join us now, if you haven't already, you will get our 2025 astrological forecast, which is happening on the 23rd, and then the goal setting workshop, which is that's at that same time. So we're going to hear about the astrology for 2025, the major transits that are happening, and we're also going to have our goal setting workshop where we're going to take the vision that we set in the retreat, and then we're actually going to put some goals around it. That workshop is absolutely free. You just have to go register for that at thepeaceteacher.com/reset. And when you upgrade to the VIP, you do get access to the recordings of the Reset Retreat. We had a great retreat last week, and so you'll get access to all of those recordings. Plus, you'll get a one-on-one session with yours truly, me, to activate your goals for the year. So we'll be using the Akashic Records to activate those goals for the year. We'll look through them, make sure they're good to go, and then your plan is good to go, and then we'll activate those goals in a really beautiful activation. So I'm excited to see you in this new season, in this new year. So come join us at the Reset Retreat, thepeacesteacher.com/reset. That's thepeacesteacher.com/reset. And with that, my friend, this wraps up our video, and I will see you next time. Remember to keep shining your unique light.